Well, hello everyone, and hope you all had a wonderful night's rest, integrating from last night's summer solstice circle. So, this is your integration reading, and we're going to be looking at the energy that's coming up, the lessons that you will be learning through that phase, and other guidances from the spirit animals and Rose Spirit, and any other guidances in the other tarot cards. So let's dive into first looking at the energy that's coming forward. So this is a really good sign that a lot of deep inner work has happened last night. And in particular, your manifestations may actually come into reality a little faster. That's what I'm feeling in these cards. So the first card that had popped out talks about that it is time to take action right now. So if you received any guidance last night on the next steps you need to take based on the inner garden journey that we did, do start taking those actions now. Because if we don't, our manifestations won't bloom. And that's where a lot of people give up on manifesting. They just think it's this meditation you do, you put it out there, and you just don't go back to it again. Actually, like a gardener, you need to go back and check on your manifestations. Are they growing? What else can you do to help it grow even a little more? So make sure you do take those little or big actions when you feel called to do it. The next card talks about working through your fears. So as you take those action steps, some fears are going to come up. And that's where, once again, people fail with their manifestation work because they allow the fear to take over, which creates procrastination, analysis paralysis, action paralysis, and any other things. So make sure that you identify the fear that comes up within you when you're about to take action. And oftentimes it's the fear around failure or fear of actually achieving it. And then there's that next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, which means it's endless, it's more work. I could feel that some of you have that belief system there, that once you achieve something, there's that next thing. The goalpost is always moving. So you might need to change your plans perhaps a little bit so that it accommodates your growth that's comfortable for you, but you're still growing. And the other thing also about working through your fears, and it goes back to what the creator was just speaking about, where the goalpost is always moving, it's definitely rooted in a collective consciousness way of thinking of there's always that next success that you need to chase, or you will forever be chasing success, another negative belief. So we will release those and other tricky ones in the next circle, which will be July's full moon, called the Blessing Moon, and which will be a great time to just assess our manifestation work so far to that point. Release anything that could be closed as learned, completed, and finished, so that there's more room for you to overcome your fear and continue achieving your manifestations or making them into reality, as one spirit guide wanted to correct me on that. So as you're planning for the future and you're taking action steps and you're really working on yourself on moving forward, make sure you balance that inner spiritual work and healing with practicality. So this is where you may find that a lot of spiritual people seem to be airy-fairy, up in the air, not quite grounded, unable to stay focused. That's because they're spending too much time chasing that spiritual high and really banking on that spiritual high that it would save them. So I feel like there's another negative belief here that may need to be released in a future circle, so that you know how to balance that spirituality and practicality. And that practicality part is grounding your energy, like it was mentioned in one of the prep readings. So make sure you are grounding yourself. After any deep inner healing work or a meditation or spiritual retreat, it's always good to slowly and gradually bring yourself back to reality by grounding your energy. So that's going out for a walk in nature, journaling, eating really well. So eating healthy foods for some of you, if you do consume meat, meat and other kinds of proteins are a great way to ground your energy. So do that grounding process, because as you do that self-care and grounding yourself, the insights and the aha moments and the next steps will come naturally to you. So right now it's all about integrating, resting, reflecting, journaling at this moment. And then in that time of integration, the next steps that you need to take might just come really, really quickly. So I'm hearing that some of you are planning a little too hard. So if you feel like you're planning a little too hard, look at that, because the underlying fear may be the fear of things falling apart. So you need to really plan and keep planning, manifesting, and not actually taking that next step. So really keep check on yourself. Where are you planning a little bit too much, and where can you take more of that practical step in taking those actions that would bring you closer to your goal? So balance that spiritual part of integration and the future forward planning. The final card here is wonderful. It assures that there is a win-win forecast up ahead. So as you do that work of balancing the spiritual healing, integration, and the practical aspects of planning for the future, that win-win forecast is coming. So how wonderful is that? But of course, it's all dependent on you taking those action steps, right? So always keep check on yourself. Make sure you are going through that to-do list. I'm hearing that for some of you, the to-do list or the action steps or the future planning, abundance planning that you have done, it may change a little bit because of the integration. And the more you allow the integration to really go deeply within you, the more of that future planning may change, which is good. It just means that your vibration is lifting up, and therefore you need to plan a little bit bigger. You remember what the creator was saying in our circle, bigger, better, more badass. So that might be somewhere that you're headed towards, because remember the card, the Knight, from the Rose Spirit Oracle that had come out. You're really stepping up and stepping forward into something much bigger. And when we're heading in that direction, it could bring up a lot of fear in ourselves. So be aware what those fears are. When we become aware what the fears are and the origins of it, the fear itself may just naturally disappear, and you may just instantly heal yourself within that moment. Because I know there are quite a few healers who were in the circle last night. So with the coming energy flow, what are you learning? So the first card that had popped out is release. So there you go, let go of that fear. But first you must acknowledge it. Where and when and with whom did it start with? I'm hearing as you do this reflective work on where your fear started, you're going to start to notice a pattern. And that pattern is going to tell a bigger story of the origin of where all this fear, this blocks to abundance started. So pay attention to patterns that are consistent in your life in terms of abundance or relationships. Speaking of relationships, it looks like a lot of the clearing that was done around abundance is going to bring in a lot of love, deeper connection with those of you who are already partnered with someone. And if you are solo, there's more love coming in. So we'll get to those cards a little later. The next thing that you're learning is taking risks. So take those next action steps. It is a failure if you didn't see the learnings in it. So do remember that. And that's all that the spirit world wants to leave with you. That's a pretty harsh teaching there, but I hope it helps and supports you as you grow along this journey. So the next card that had come out, and I believe this is the first time this card had come out. I've been using the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck for a few years now, and it's the first time this card has come out. So this card, Illumination. So you'll notice that in the card, there's a drawing there of a lake, and there's a forest, and the forest is reflected within the water. So this is where you need to do a lot of that reflective work. What's the consistent or common patterns within your life in terms of relationships or your relationship to abundance? Look into that. And there's going to be an aha or insight that's going to come in that will help you illuminate or give some illumination to your blocks. I'm just tuning in a little bit more into here. The water image here is really standing out to me, and the creator is talking about some of you do need to spend some time near water, because that energy of water is going to be quite cleansing, and that clearing will bring clarity into you. So any kinds of water, rivers, streams, lakes, sea, so whichever or whatever landscape that you're drawn to being in, I like to leave that up to you. Okay, there's one more message from this card as I was putting it down. You are welcome to ask your spirit guide to give you more illumination into an area where you need more guidance and clarity on. And you can ask your spirit guides to send you signs, synchronicities, omens, symbols, so you could follow them like breadcrumbs. And again, it's up to you on how well you could connect the dots. And remember, you've received the download on how to connect the dots and how to communicate with spirit better in the circle. So trust what you're seeing, trust what you're feeling as you witness or see or receive those signs from spirit, and trust that you can create the story behind all those signs. What's the message there? The final card is happiness. I feel like this card came out in the prep reading, but your definition of it is going to change. That's what I'm hearing. So allow this energy to really integrate and settle within you. And then you'll know what happiness is, or how you want to be and feel happy in the future, which may allow you to receive things from spirit of what you need to do next, the next action step you need to take so you can reach that state of happiness. And be careful when, in particular with people who do this deep spiritual healing work, be careful with the lessons that Spirit sends you in regards to happiness. Oftentimes we associate happiness with what the collective consciousness thinks or what we are programmed to think what happiness is. But if you're really, really open to it, try to see how Spirit or the Creator wants to show you what their definition in truth is about happiness, because they're very, very different. And if you could see how the Creator sees and views happiness or contentment, your goals may change a little bit, and that means your future planning or abundance planning may change a little bit, and that's okay. I could feel some of your souls going, oh God, I do all this planning and then it might change, so what's the point of planning? But soon you won't have to plan or redo your plans, because you'll eventually be so in alignment and in flow with your intuition and with what the universe sends you. So if you do have to rewrite your plans a few times over, that's okay, because you might find that you might not to rewrite it so frequently anymore in the future. So the next cards. These are from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. Swan Spirit is talking about it is now a time for a deep dive. So this card is really cording in hard with the message about reflection, doing that reflective work, connecting the dots, also looking into the origins of the fear. What's the common pattern there? Because once you recognize the pattern, you're more aware of it, and you could call yourself out from doing any sort of actions that are not serving you, and it would help redirect you into a better direction that you may not have considered. So do that deep dive, that deep inner work. And as you do that deep inner work and you gain more clarity and understanding of who you are, who you are becoming, and where you are headed, the Stag Spirit is saying you're going to learn how to take the lead. So this is more about learning how to take the lead in your life. For those of you who may be in leadership positions in terms of work or any other aspects of your life, so you may be the one calling the shots in your family. You might find that your sense of leadership or the way you lead, the growth and the nurturance of your family may change. For those of you, and for the rest of us actually, you may find that you are learning to lead, in particular leading with your intuition. So really, really practice connecting and communicating with your spirit guides and trying to understand the communication system, which are the signs and dreams or feelings that you receive from the divine. And that's going to really help you become a really good leader in your own life. You'll know how to take the lead or lead things in a much better direction. The next card is the Turkey Spirit. Give with gratitude and grace. So I feel like we did a similar download in our circle about giving, receiving, or having that balance. So with the Turkey Spirit, they do want you to consider how you want to give back, either to the community or to those loved ones or to any organizations that would help you feel like you are actually contributing to the growth of the community, contributing to the harmony of family. I'm hearing harmony and balance. And I'm still feeling that there's some old soul beliefs within some of you where you feel like you have to give to avoid karmic punishment. Let's avoid that. So make sure that when you are giving, check in with yourself. Where is it coming from? Is it giving from a place of fear that God or Creator may punish you? Because that's a really, really old paradigm thinking. So look into when you want to give, to whom you want to give your time or resources to, and how would that look and feel like. Also assess the current state of giving and receiving, because I'm hearing a lot of you still need to learn about receiving. So look into where you may be giving too much and where you might be able to scale back just a little bit so that you can actually fill up your own spiritual batteries a little bit more, so you could give a little bit more to yourself. I'm hearing going back, it goes back to that integration. So a great way to give back to yourself and recharge your spiritual batteries is by really taking time during your integration. Just allowing yourself to rest as much it needs to, allow yourself to just do whatever you need to do. It could be running, it could be just being creative, just to channel out some of the energy, and more of insights and intuitive hits will come in. And as those intuitive insights and hits come in, the Rhino Spirit is saying that you can overcome any obstacle. So do know that. You do have the downloads, or the downloads of Bravery and Courage were updated and upgraded in the circle last night. So you could go off like the night. Remember that card, the night? So you could now ride off into the sunset like they do in movies. One spirit guide is joking. So you do have that bravery and courage moving forward, but keeping yourself in check of the fears that are coming up. And know that it's just inner dialogue. Your past life, ancestral, and present life fears just all coming out and playing within that one moment. So be very aware. They keep mentioning this. Be very aware of the fears that come up as you move forward. And the more awareness we have of the fear, the more distance we become from that fear. And that fear no longer controls us. So going on next to the Mystical Moments Oracle deck here. And these talk more about your personal life and any relationships, about love. For some reason, this has come through. So Rose Spirit do want to talk about that in the next 8 cards. So here we go. So the first card that had popped out is White Rose of Hope. So just give me a moment here because there's a lot that's coming through. Okay. So what Spirit wants to talk about here, and actually they want to assure those of you who are still looking for that divine life partner or compatible life partner. There are 2 different things, which I go into in the Sacred Partnerships course, but they as in the spirit world, I want to assure you that that compatible life partner, they are coming. But right now you just need to focus on your inner work at this time. And the more that you clear out within you, you're lifting your vibration more and more, as you already know. And as we lift up our vibration more and more through our own inner work, the sequence of soulmates that are meant to come in, they do change. So you might meet someone that is completely unexpected. You might not even think to choose them as a life partner, but be open to those sort of soulmates coming into your life. They may show up as a surprise for you. So this White Rose of Hope card is saying, be hopeful, stay hopeful, they are coming. And they are also wanting to talk about the white rose there, right by the woman's heart chakra on that card. And it's glowing like the full moon. It's illuminating her. So this goes back to that card, illumination. That's one of the things that you are learning at this time. So look into your experiences with relationships. How has it illuminated your understanding about love and connections to other beings? And as you acknowledge the lessons that you learned, you may just automatically close it in your Akashic record as completed and finished, because I could feel that shift really wanting to happen. And when we close more and more of those lessons or contracts as finished in our Akashic record, the more space opens up within us. And so more soulmates that are aligned with you will come in. So they do want to talk about the next card, which is called Touch the Sky. So for those of you who are ferociously doing future abundance planning, this card is saying, yes, you could get to that state, but try dreaming bigger. What would that look and feel like? And as you dream bigger, what other fears come up within you? And that's a really great way to identify any sort of other abundance blocks that we have. Oftentimes, humans are scared to dream bigger because they feel like they are unable to take the responsibility or the lessons or any consequences that come with it. And that's a very, very old world, old paradigm way of thinking that I'm hearing also needs to be released in a future circle. So we'll do that where you could plan ahead without the fear of things falling apart. The next card is the Art of Seduction. And actually, the Art of Seduction in the next card, To the Moon and Back, they want to talk together. So these final 2 cards, they do refer to those who are partnered or for those who are solo. So the Art of Seduction wants to first talk about how to seduce yourself to enjoy life more. So, how do you want to seduce yourself to enjoy life more? Can you do things so you stop looking life as a drag, or stop looking at work as a drag? There's so many people who look forward to Fridays because they're just looking for the start of the weekend. So that's actually a red flag within you that you are not enjoying your work. You're just working to live. So look into your concepts about work and life, and that it is possible to, and you're allowed to really enjoy work and enjoy life, your personal life at the same time. But first, try to look at how you could seduce yourself into really enjoying the work that you do, or identify something that you really don't look forward to doing. For some reason, I'm hearing cleaning. Cleaning the house can take a lot of work. So how can you seduce yourself to make a mundane task like that a little bit more? I'm hearing sexy and romantic. That's really funny. Someone's spirit guide is talking like that. So it might be putting on a fun music. It could be just lighting up an incense, so you could just bring in a little bit more of that spiritual vibe as you're clearing out the house. Because when we clean our space, it's quite the spiritual act, because we're clearing out old things that is no longer needed within your space. So be creative. Try to find ways to make everyday mundane things a little bit more exciting. To the moon and back, and the art of seduction, want to talk together about the next thing. So for those of you who are partnered, your connection with your partner will become deeper, as they mentioned, and you're going to feel like you've gone to the moon and back with him. So how wonderful. I could feel some of your heart chakras opening up as you are listening to this. For those of you who are solo, I'm hearing creators say, start with seducing yourself and enjoying life a little bit more. So trying to bring in a little bit more of this feeling of delight and fun in every tiny aspects of your life if you can. And that energy is going to build up, and it's going to bring someone in who would match that vibration, someone who would also bring the same level of delight and joy, but better, into your life. And you're going to feel like you have gone to the moon and back as you do those things for yourself, to doing those little delightful things to make the mundane stuff a little bit more fun. But when you finally meet that divine life partner or compatible life partner, you're going to feel like you've gone to the moon. So finally, what Rose Spirit wants to talk about, and I just realized all the rose cards that have come out, they're all red. So this appearance of red roses really affirms the message that were in the Mystical Moments Oracle cards of that art of seduction, practicing it so it fires up some passion in your life and bring more love into your life, in terms of being passionate towards your work, passionate towards your partner, and just being loving, more loving in general. So it brings more of that, attracts more of that to you. So all these cards that have red roses on it just wants to validate that message. So these 4 cards speak about the energy that you're stepping into. So whichever one of these that resonates with you, that's the energy or the leveling up that you're doing at this time. So the first card is the Innovator. And this card is buzzing and chording with the card that had come out in the circle, which is about being the pioneer, I believe. Yes, it is. I had to check because I have the card still out on my desk. So remember the message about the pioneers. Sometimes pioneers, they just pave a new road to do something, but know that there's an old road that you can use, and you could branch off from that old road and create something new for yourself or for others. And that's where the Innovator energy wants to come in. just to teach and show you that how to invent, how to innovate, how to be creative, how to be bold without the fear of judgment or being placed in a box by others. The energy of the innovator, they always have the fear of being boxed in or having to follow the rules. So you may be bored with following the rules or be bored with following what other people do. You may be that black sheep, or I don't like the term black sheep, but you may always have been that person who wants to do things just a little differently and one up everyone at the same time because you're the innovator. So you are stepping into that level, that energy of the innovator, someone who creates something new or tries to explore something a little deeper and uncover something new. So if you were drawn to that card, you are stepping into the innovator energy. The next card is the advocate. And this card here wants to speak about being an advocate for yourself. A lot of you have been cheering and supporting others a little too much, and it's now time to be the cheerleader for yourself and advocate for yourself. And when we pull back our energies and not help so much, other people start to take insult or offense to it. So you may need to give those people a heads up. Hey, I just need to scale back a little bit. So I feel like these are more related to friends and family. And just letting them know, giving them a heads up that you need to step back a bit, eases off on them being resistant to you sort of withdrawing and recharging your own energy. So as you're recharging your energy and being a little bit of a hermit, that's what I'm hearing, some of your spirit guides suggest, when you're in that reflective hermit mode, look into how you have been an advocate for others and how you can do that same intensity of advocation and support that you've given to others. How can you bring that same level of energy to yourself? So look into it. If you are planning the future and still doubting yourself, saying, no, that's not for me, you need to look at the trauma or any sort of fears around being the advocate for yourself, standing up for yourself, and also setting boundaries for yourself. So one spirit guide here is suggesting some of us to go down this rabbit hole a little bit deeper and look into what the term advocate really means. How has it played out in our society? I know some people say, oh, I'm an advocate for this cause or that cause, but that's what the collective consciousness thinks and feels. So you're welcome to ask the creator or your spirit guide to show you how being an advocate for yourself or the energy of the advocate could play a little bit more in your life so that you could really move towards your dreams. So the next card is the Lover. So this card just wants to validate the previous message that as you do more of your inner work, the connection between you and your loved ones are deepening. It's getting better. They're also wanting to remind some of you again how you can seduce yourself. Remember that card, the Art of Seduction. How can you seduce yourself to really enjoy life? Because when that message was channeled earlier in this reading, it didn't go in deep enough. That's what I'm hearing your spirit guide to say. So take any suggestions that they have given you earlier in this reading and try to add little bits in your life to make things a little fun. I'm hearing one more suggestion, and that is creating a new playlist. So playlist for cleaning the house, playlist for doing your taxes, or just a playlist just to play during dinner, right? That would be a nice change. Sometimes families just sit in silence and eat dinner, which is fine. But instead of having the TV running in the background or sitting in silence, maybe having nice music play in the background could contribute to the vibration within that family dinner, or it could help clear some energy, I'm hearing, because music has healing frequencies in them. So I'm hearing for some of you, you do need to listen to classical music because that holds really, really high frequencies. I'm hearing Bach is really good for some of you, so look into that. How can music change, shift, clear the energy and make that time and space better? And how can music deepen your connection to spirit, to yourself, to any actions that you're taking within that moment, such as cleaning or anything else? So play with music. I keep seeing the word playlist being smacked in front of me over and over. So music is great. We could just create a playlist and keep it running in the background. The final card here is the priest. So some of you are stepping into a much higher understanding of the spirit world. And you're going to start to feel spirit a little differently, and you're going to start to interpret them differently. And by that, your spirit guide means that before you may have actually been seeing or hearing messages from spirit, but you might start to feel it next. So be open to different sensations that are coming up within the body. It feels like they are wanting the world to slowly start to move into feeling, because we're always so much in our heads. So you're going to start to feel a little bit more within your body. And when you do, take a moment to pause, tune in and go, what's this trying to tell me? Am I just hungry, or is spirit really trying to tell me something in my gut right now? So I would like to leave that with you. And I wish you all a beautiful day and a beautiful start to summer.